Hi everybody, a very warm welcome back to the MEC-TEC garage. We're carrying on Project Plonker today. We're trying to keep, or I'm trying to keep the momentum going on this project, trying to get jobs done. This video is going to be a bit of a bitzer because we're jumping from job to job a little bit, but we're going to start off I think with the rear lower halves of the back of the van. We need to get those rubbed down, painted, or primed I should say, filled and primed, and then obviously we'll carry on from there. You'll see in the video I'm not going to complete that job unfortunately, and you'll see why when you watch the video in a minute. So without further ado, I'm waffling, let's crack on, get some work done. Right, next job we're going to do in the van is going to be these lower side panels. Now as you can see, this side is actually intact, there's nothing wrong with it, it just needs rubbing down and painting and lacquering. Obviously this side unfortunately has been shot at. It came through that panel on that side and across to this panel on this side. Now I did fiberglass all this from the back as you can see, so it is all nice and strong now. Obviously I need to make it look nice with some filler on this side. So first thing I need to do is actually buzz back this little section here, because that is slightly higher than it needs to be to obviously get a nice flat edge on the filler. Now these panels inside here, I've got a flat edge here. They aren't completely flat. You can see there is a, well, they're pretty flat actually to be fair, but obviously where that bit's sticking out, it is giving a bit of a rock. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the grinder with a flat wheel, just buzz that edge, that flat edge back so it sits back a bit, and then we can hopefully get a skimmer filler over that, get it all looking nice and flat and uniform. And obviously this section here as well. Now I just picked a couple of bits of the lead shot out of this that were still in here. As you can see, one bit just there, so still got some lead shot in it or whatever they were shooting, you know. So I want to get those bits picked out as well so they don't go rusty underneath the filler, and then hopefully we should get this looking a bit better and obviously all a nice colour again. Let's crack on and get some work done. Right, that took a bit of an age, but as you can see, I've got all those side panels now rubbed down. They don't look very smooth, but they are actually smooth. This side I've got the filler done on there. That is the first coat. I'm going to need to give it another little skim. There's a couple of little divots in it and a couple of little bits on the top there you can see need refilling. So I'm going to redo those. Unfortunately I rubbed the DA along the bottom edge of that black, so I'm going to have to retouch that back in again, but that's not too much of an issue. I can do that with a little brush. That should be absolutely fine. That side I managed to not touch, so that's okay. Got all the dust out, give it a hoover up. So now I'm going to go around all the little tiny areas that I've found that need a little bit of skimmer filler in them, give them a little skim over, make sure they're nice and flat, then that can all dry and then we can get them rubbed down and hopefully get some filler primer on here. Top banana. Right, whilst the filler is drying, I've got the big roller sand deadening mat that I've got here out. This is the first time I've really looked at it, so I'm just sort of seeing what's going on. It's got a sticky backing on it with like a sort of bitumen back. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to infill this area here, which goes underneath the rear seat, because I know that's definitely covered. And I'm also going to do the upright on this section here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the floors yet, because there's a lot of holes in the floors that I need to use for bolting the seats in. So obviously I don't want to cover up, so I'm kind of on the fence about doing the front floors at the moment, but at least we can get a start on that rear section whilst this is drying. I'm not going to do the very rear floor, I don't think. I'm probably going to stone chip that, but with a finer, how would you describe it, just like a finer grade stone chip, if that makes sense. So it's not as coarse. That usually is in an aerosol can, so I'm going to get some of that and we'll go over that, because that floor is okay but it's not great, and I think it probably would benefit from having a slight bit of texture to it. So I'm probably going to do that with that, but obviously where I can put the sand deadening that you're not going to see, I will. So yeah, I'm going to get some of this starting, get this cut and whatever else, and we'll see how it fits down. I've got these special rollers as well, which I'll show you in a second. They're like hard plastic rollers, which obviously you use to push that all down with once you've got it in position, so it gets it all stuck nice and everything else. So yeah, let's crack on and get some of this down. Right, apologies for the noise, the fan heater's going and the tumble dryer's going. So ignore that. Right, I've not used this before, so I don't know how it's going to go. Basically, I'm going to roll it out. Got the fan heater on in here, so that should hopefully help get it a bit more sticky, because obviously it's been sitting in the garage for well over a year. And my thought with this section is I'm going to go just up to that. I actually might keep it flat. I don't know. I was going to try and go up to this lip, just so that it laps up to the edge and covers up any nasties. That was my thinking. How flexible it proves to be is yet to be seen, obviously with the heat on in here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this out, cut it to length, and then work it in, I guess. I'm going to try and do it in one panel. I'm second guessing myself now as whether I should just do it in these lower bits, because if you do it in this upper bit, that's where the seat sits, although it's not much thickness. It would be nice to get it to go all the way across, because obviously then it's one piece and it gives it the best sound deadening you can, you know. That fits in there quite nicely. See, if I go, I'll be able to slip these corners so that they'll fit in nice around the corners. Obviously what I've got to be careful of is when I cut the length, I need to make sure that it's moulded all around these ups and downs, because otherwise I'll cut it short. I mean, obviously it hasn't got to be bang on perfect, but if you've watched my videos by now, you know I like to do things as best as I can. So I've also got to cut around these bolts as well, which obviously can be a bit of a pain, but it's not too bad. Hopefully this will give it a nice bit of sound deadening. Keep it, well, definitely be quieter than any other Reliant Supervan, I know that. I'm sure I'm going to do this at the moment. The feather's actually pretty much dry now. Probably get back on with rubbing that down, to be honest, but we're here now, so. I'm going to cut this on this edge, so it's not going to go right over this lip. It's just going to go up to the edge. The top edge will be bare again, and then I'm going to start it again on this edge and go down. I think that'll look neat, because otherwise I'm going to have trying to overlap it and all that sort of carry on. Right, I'm going to work out how I'm going to do this and come back to you when I've got a bit more of an idea. I think what I'm going to have to do is fold this back on itself so I can get it in position, if that makes sense, like that. Yeah, that'll work, won't it? I'll mould this around. And then I'll cut it slightly long, not much obviously, because I don't want to waste it. Just go over that lip so that it's got a little bit of extra, and then when I've pushed it all down, if it's too short, I'll have that bit on top. Quite heat hot. I'm going to have to turn that away from me a bit, it's really hot. Right. If I cut that there, should be about right. Hopefully. This is moulded into the shape, especially with me sitting on it, it's moulded into the shape quite well. Right, I'm going to cut this there, I think. Don't know how easy this is to cut, but we'll find out. Got a nice new blade in my knife. That's not too bad actually. There we go. Now that makes things a little bit easier to work with, because obviously we're not working with that giant roll now. For a minute. Right, so there we go. That is our shape kind of moulded to it. And obviously, the better I can get that edge to that edge, if that makes sense, the easier it will be, because I won't have to trim it too much. That's the theory anyway. What I was thinking of was with these bolt holes is I'm going to cut the bolt head out and let the sound deadening overlap the washer, because then it effectively makes the washer captive. Not that it makes a lot of difference, but it's just me being a tart. Right, I think we're there. I think I'm going to have to start peeling this off and going for it, I guess. Now before I do that, I want to give this a clean with some panel wipe. I've got a lot of this left actually to get some more. A little bit of panel wipe, just so it's got the best chance of sticking alright and all the rest of it. Any grease and mank off of it, I'm not going to worry about all the marks on it, because obviously that's all going to be covered up as long as it's clean. then that's absolutely fine. We've got to dry off with the dry side. Like that. Bang. Right, get my rollers ready. Don't know which ones I'm going to probably need both of these, the little one and the big one. Hopefully you can see this alright. Right. It's just I've got to be careful where I kneel in here because there's bits that I haven't got the chassis under it, obviously where the seat normally goes. Just a case now of peeling and sticking. And pretty much as simple as that really. I'm going to possibly try and do this a bit at a time so that I've not got sticky stuff everywhere. It gives me a chance to manoeuvre it about a bit. That edge on there as best as I can, and as I say I haven't got cut back in there. Well, I'll have to cut bits of it obviously. Actually, it moulds in there quite well. Too bad. This side's going to be a bit more tricky because I've got more of an overhang, which obviously I'm going to cut off. That's alright. So we'll use our big roller for this bit, I suppose. Get some of that. That pushes it nicely into the corners, that does. See exactly where my bolt is now as well. Right, we'll put a bit more off and carry on going, I guess. Get about halfway. Rolling it down. Now I know what you're probably going to say, this is going to be adding weight to the van, which is already slow enough, but the way I see it is I'd much rather have eardrums at the end of a journey than I would get there 5 minutes quicker. So they're not exactly fast to start with, so adding a little bit of weight on. I dare say this shell is probably a lot heavier than standard one anyway, because of the amount of fiberglass work I've done to it in there and the amount of thickness I've added to various parts of it. So I'm not too worried about that. This is actually going on quite nicely. Quite easy to work with, which is good. It's called Easy Gear, this stuff. I don't know what make it actually is, but it's basically like Dynamat, but without the price tag. And as you can probably imagine, buying a roll this size of Dynamat would be megabucks. Try not to get any creases in it. It's hard, but not that it makes a blind bit of difference because no one's ever going to see it, but even so, you know me, I like to get things as best they can be, so right. I think we'll be safe to pull the rest of this off now, I think. Down, so I want to roller it so that the creases come out of it. pretty pleased with that. So I've got a little bit of trimming to do, as you can probably tell. So I'll work that into the corners there now, around this bolt. And then I'm going to start trimming all these edges off. So I shall do that and come back to you once it's all looking neat and tidy. Absolutely marvellous. There we go, that is our first bit of sand deadening in the van. And if I can get it all to look something like that, I shall be very happy. So that's come out really well, I'm quite chuffed with that. I think I'm going to jump back on, I'm either going to cut these two bits next, or I'm going to jump back on and get that filler rub down, because I think that's dry now. And then we can obviously carry on with either of those jobs simultaneously. Let's carry on. Right, having done this primer, it has shown up lots of little imperfections like that in the fiberglass. Not in my filler work, I might like to add, but in the fiberglass itself where it's been made originally. So unfortunately I'm going to have to go around with the filler and go over it all again. The looks of it, there's just tons of little imperfections everywhere. I could really do with getting some like dolphin glaze or something like that to go over it all, because as I say, there's lots of little imperfections. If I turn around, you'll see the other side as well. Got a little bit there, a couple of bits here, some more there, some more there. Nothing too major, but it's just, I just wanted it to be as perfect as I could get it, and it's kind of not. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed actually, because I thought that giving it a coat of filler primer would be good enough, and then obviously we could rub it down, get it smooth and get it painted, but alas, that isn't the case. So not really sure what I'm going to do on this at the moment, because I say I don't know whether to try and use the filler I've got, which is good filler, or whether to try getting some dolphin glaze, which is a lot finer, and obviously then that will go into all these little tiny holes and stuff like that a lot easier. So I think I'm going to leave doing this for this video, because I don't want to rush it and sort of make it not as good as I want it to be, if that makes sense. So I think what I'm going to do is jump back on the sand editing, and we'll get some more panels made up, and maybe get the front parts of the floor, get all this cleared out and get the front parts of the floor sanded, and so that's all done. Let's carry on. Right, with those back bits done and these two side bits done that you'd have just seen, I'm looking at doing the main part of the floor now. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stop at this line and leave this area where the seats are going to bolt down free for the minute. It will get sand deadened, but I want to make sure that I know where exactly all my holes are and everything before I start sticking sand deadening all over the top of it. So I've cut a piece out. I'm going to go, there's actually a seam in the floor under there anyway, so I'm going to go just over that seam. I'm going to mould this to the shape of the ribs in the floor, cut it round here, cut it up here so this bit lays flat and goes into that corner, trim this bit off. I'll leave this bit obviously connected to that because there's no point in cutting that off, and then that will obviously sand deaden that bit of the side of the engine. Obviously I'm going to put some on top of the plates that go over here as well, and I'm going to put some around here. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on just like that, just like that. And Tommy Cooper, if you didn't know, for the younger viewers. And yeah, we'll hopefully have all this pretty much sanded, and I want to try and go all the way up to the front of the footwell up there, do these side panels in here, obviously all around the tunnel and everything, and I'll just leave the two squares here and over there free so I can do me seats and whatever. Let's carry on. Right, I've got this side now complete apart from that little square there. I've put a couple of bits on off camera. This strip around the top here, down there, and also that bit inside this kick panel here. That was a little bit tricky, the shape of that, so I just got in there and did that because it would have been impossible to try and film that in that small gap. Put a couple of little infill bits in, little triangular bit there, little triangular bit here, just to obviously infill where it wasn't quite lining up with the edge of that access hole. So now I've got a couple of bits freshly cut off the roll over there. I've got my 2 strips to go around the side, and I've got my main bit to go on this section here, but obviously over there. And we've got a few more obstacles on this side, obviously, because we've got the brake reservoir, we've also got the pedals and the main beam switch in the floor as well, so it's going to be a bit more tricky when I get up that end. But I'm going to crack on, get these bits put in that I've cut, and then we'll move on to that tricky bit up there. What do you reckon to that then? That is the whole front half of the van and the tunnel and the bit I'm sitting on, and obviously these uprights here, all sound deadened. The only bits I haven't done is behind the, or underneath the seats. But having done all that, I've actually run out of sound deadening mats, so it's worked out pretty much perfect almost. All I've got left is scraps on the floor over there, no big pieces, it's all been used, nothing's been wasted. So I am well chuffed with that. I think that's come out pretty well. It's the first time I've ever used this stuff, so I didn't know what it was going to be like, but it's actually a nice bit of stuff to use. It's pretty easy to lay and cut and all the rest of it. So yeah, hopefully that should make our Reliant Supervan possibly the quietest Reliant Supervan in the world. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. Another job ticked off the list. That sound deadening took absolutely ages. I can only apologise for all the time lapse in this video, But the jobs I've been doing have been very, very time consuming, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to watch it in real time, otherwise you would all have gone grey by now or bald. So, you know, it's your choice. Anyway, so that's why I time-lapsed it. So we've got all the sound deadening in, apart from the bits under the seats, as you would have seen. I'm going to need to get some more sound deadening now, because that's the tube and there's nothing left of it. So chuck that over there. So yeah, I'm going to need to get some more of that, but obviously we need to get the seats sorted out first. I want to make some little riser rails to make them a little bit higher, because when I first fitted them in there they were a little bit too low. So I'm going to get some box section, we're going to make some rails to raise the seats up about 2 inches, and using MX-5 seats in it, so they're going to be nice and comfortable, and hopefully that should do the trick, and then we can get the rest of that sound deadening finished and all that sort of thing. So next episode I think is probably going to be, we're going to hopefully finish off that paint in the rear side panels. I want to test fit the doors because they take shims on these, and I want to make sure that I know exactly what shims it needs where before I get any paint near the van, because obviously it's going to be on and off, and I don't want to chip it all. So I'm going to have to test fit those doors we've got over there as well. That's the first time they would have been put on this van. I've not had them on there at all, so that should be an interesting one. And then our list is gradually going down. All I've got on the list that isn't crossed off now is the handbrake and cable, which is an easy thing to do, the sound deadening, which we've done, the lower side panels, and test fit the doors. That's the only things I've got left on the van before we start getting the actual bodywork ready for coat of primer, and obviously start flattening things down and getting it actually looking all the same colour, which should be the first time since I've owned it, so that should be absolutely superb. Remember, I've got Instagram MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook MEC-TEC for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to, if I remember, because I always forget. And also for me to say is thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Remember to do those 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. And if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, make sure you tune in again next time. Cheers guys.